Hello, welcome to the Katie Sassine Show. As always, I'm your host, Katie Sassine, addressing the indoctrination of the nation. And we have a lot to talk about because last week we heard some devastating news about the gas attacks that occurred in Syria. Now, this has happened in 2013 and now it has occurred again in 2016. And thankfully, we have a president right now that's going to assert hard power back at Assad, or so we think. This was Assad to blame for this terrible mistake that someone has made in Syria. So President Donald Trump has asserted hard power, which is influencing other states' behavior with military and economic means, contrary to soft power, which is influencing a state's behavior with diplomatic means. And those are the means that President Barack Obama would commonly turn to. And it was so problematic because it was ineffective. And that's why so many people got impatient with Barack Obama. Even Donald Trump, a few years ago, sided with Barack Obama in not bombing Syria in response to the chemical attacks that were reportedly put out by Assad upon his own people because they're rebel forces that are against his regime. Now, anyway, let's get into it. So, President Donald Trump launched dozens of Tomahawk missiles on Syria, and he reacted with decisive hard power upon the devastating and despicable sarin gas attacks that occurred on Tuesday, April 4th on the town of Cardin, a town that is known to be condensed with rebel forces against Assad and his regime. So, launched from USS Ross and USS Porter in the Mediterranean Sea toward Syrian Airfield. That's where these missiles were launched from and toward the Syrian Airfield. American officials believe that the Syrian Airfield was used by the government of Syria, President Bashar al-Assad, to carry out a strike on Tuesday involving chemical weapons, the sarin gas attacks that resulted in the deaths of more than 100 people. This is reported by NBC. At least 6 people were killed when we responded with the airstrikes. We fired out dozens of missiles. It was reported by an official that only one of them did not hit its intended target, which is very good, which is a very good report. Unfortunately, there were 6 people that were killed because of the American response on the airfield, on the Syrian Airfield. But the Pentagon said civilians were not targeted, and the strike was aimed again at a military airfield in Homs, H-O-M-S. Again, reported straight from NBC, available on all mass media news networks, these towns and these numbers. So when this occurred in 2013, President Barack Obama, again, did not take sufficient action. He reacted with soft power. It was ineffective. So attacks were reportedly committed by an Assad pilot on a Russian aircraft. These attacks that were put out reportedly by Assad were committed reportedly by a pilot on a Russian aircraft. So this was stated by Ben Cardin in an address on the matter with Marco Rubio. And Marco Rubio did give a nice statement on the incident. If you would like to check that out, I would recommend checking out that statement. Senator Cardin says that we need to indict President Assad. And that was also, of course, in the address on the matter with Marco Rubio. Missiles fired, reportedly 59 on Thursday by President Donald Trump on Thursday, April 6th, 2 days after the chemical gas attack, at least 2 days after the news of the chemical gas attack got out, and we'll get into that information later. This is the first attack on the Syrian government in 6 years. Trump bombing him is the first, well, striking the Syrian airfield, us bombing them, which everyone's saying Trump's bombing Syria. Well, it's the first attack on the Syrian government in 6 years. On April 8th, Saturday, also, this is just in, Fox reported that a chemical agent airstrike occurred again in the same town where the chemical gas attacks were first reported, in the town of Cardin, which is a town known to be heavily condensed, again, with rebellion population, with the people against Assad. So, obviously, this is why Assad would want to strike these towns, condensed with rebels, the revolters. So meanwhile, all this is going on, and on the day of April 6th, on Thursday, when President Trump ordered these attacks, not only did he get that accomplished, not only did President Donald Trump take some affirmative action and take some hard, decisive action against the Syrian government, finally, which President Barack Obama should have done years ago, but meanwhile, he was also in a summit with Chinese President Xi JinPing on North Korea's nuclear program, getting things done. Finally, someone who's getting things done, right? This is what we've all been waiting for. And it's happening right before our eyes. So not only was he after Syria, or not after them, not only did he get Syria, but he started working on all the madness going on in North Korea, all in one day, instantaneously. This seems superhuman compared to how these situations were handled in the President Barack Obama administration. Now, nuclear weapons and long-range missiles is what they were talking about in North Korea. Their development of their nuclear program, and Trump may impose secondary sanctions upon China if they do not pressure Kim Jong-Un, so the supreme leader of North Korea, to, get a little bit more on the down low with his nuclear development and slow it down a little bit, slow his roll. So President Xi, or Xi, however you say it, has no incentive to take steps with North Korea because they're better off now than with a unified Korea that would be allied with the United States. They're better off keeping North Korea as their little maybe buddy or whatever they are, whatever they think they are right now, than if they were to be united with South Korea and united with the United States as a peaceful democracy or what have you. And that was reported, not verbatim, but that idea was reported by Jamie Metzel, former NSC National Security Council official, and he stated that on CNN. So, very interesting. President Donald Trump is criticized for his inability to be a politician, for his lack of experience of being a politician. But yet, he's doing more politicking, and parlaying and getting out there, much more than I saw, at least in the public eye, from the Obama administration. So, from what I can see, he's getting things done. Now, let's check out Trump's statement on the gas attack in his response to the missile launch.
Fellow Americans, on Tuesday, Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad launched a horrible chemical weapons attack on innocent civilians. Using a deadly nerve agent, Assad choked out the lives of helpless men, women, and children. It was a slow and brutal death for so many. Even beautiful babies were cruelly murdered in this very barbaric attack. No child of God should ever suffer such horror. Tonight I ordered a targeted military strike on the airfield in Syria from where the chemical attack was launched. It is in this vital national security interest of the United States to prevent and deter the spread and use of deadly chemical weapons. There can be no dispute that Syria used banned chemical weapons, violated its obligations under the Chemical Weapons Convention, and ignored the urging of the UN Security Council. Years of previous attempts at changing Assad's behavior have all failed, and failed very dramatically. As a result, the refugee crisis continues to deepen, and the region continues to destabilize, threatening the United States and its allies. Tonight I call on all civilized nations to join us in seeking to end the slaughter and bloodshed in Syria, and also to end terrorism of all kinds and all types. We ask for God's wisdom as we face the challenge of our very troubled world. We pray for the lives of the wounded and for the souls of those who have passed. And we hope that as long as America stands for justice, then peace and harmony will, in the end, prevail. Good night, and God bless America and the entire world. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Katie Sassine Show. So, as you can see, Trump revealed that he was going to launch airstrikes on the Shayrat air base in Syria, which is to be believed the air base from which they launched chemical weapons onto their own people. They, as in President Bashar al-Assad's regime. So, very unfortunate what's happening to our fellow global citizens in Syria right now. My heart goes out to them. And President Trump gave a very eloquent address, also sympathizing with the Syrian people. And I thought it was very well thought out, and acknowledging that Syria has violated its obligations under the Chemical Weapons Convention. Is of course the most official way to state that Assad has gone mad and something needs to be done about this. So anyway, we've got to cut for a break. We'll get back to the highlights of that speech as soon as we get back from commercial break. So please stay tuned in. Again, this is the Katie Sassine Show. You can follow me on Twitter at KatieFYNTV and email me at katie@fetchyournews.com. We'll be right back.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
At Days Chevrolet in Jasper, we make everything better. It all starts with a huge new Chevy selection. Then we heap on the discounts to make sure your Chevy price is the lowest you'll find anywhere. And if you like great customer service, you'll love it at Days. Bigger selection, lower prices, easy financing, and great customer service. Your better day is just ahead at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Spring is one of the best times of year to visit the North Georgia mountains. Not only do we celebrate fall apples in Gilmer County, we celebrate the blossoms of spring. The Georgia Apple Blossom Festival brings one exciting weekend to East Ellijay, Georgia. This free, pet-friendly event has over 50 hand-selected regional vendors offering food, art, crafts, kids' activities, and more. For more information, visit GeorgiaAppleBlossomFestival.com.
Hello, welcome back to the Katie Sassine Show. As always, I'm your host, Katie Sassine. Now, we had just looked at President Trump's address where he announced that he was going to launch missiles back on Syria in response to the alleged chemical gas attacks by Assad. Now, of course, we know that these gas attacks did indeed occur. We've seen evidence, and we've seen it on YouTube. We've seen it all over the news. The question is, was it committed by the Assad regime? Now, many conspiracy theorists say that the mass media is falsely putting out that the Assad regime committed this atrocity. Now, why would the mass media do that? To inspire World War III? To cause civil unrest? Well, I'm not sure, but I do know why Assad would do it. And Assad, President Bashar al-Assad of Syria, would launch these gas attacks against his own people because his own people dislike him. And his own people have wanted his resignation. And he is unwilling to give up his position because he has not responded to demands for his resignation. So it seems clear to me what is going on, but there are a lot of skeptics out there. Now, if you ask me what I think, well, I think you already know that. I think that Assad did this to his own people because his own people do not want him in power. So, moving on, Trump gave a very sympathetic statement when he announced his missile launch. He said that no child of God should ever know such horror. Again, this was an address from Florida during his summit with President Xi. I'm not sure how the majority of people say it, so I'm just gonna pick and choose. He said that no child of God should ever know such horror. Undoubtedly, hands down, I agree with that statement. He said efforts to change Assad's behavior have failed dramatically. He has been in power since 2000. He was reelected in 2007. Again, his resignation has been demanded by his own people and has failed to come to fruition. So, Trump also went on to say that Syria violated its obligations under the Chemical Weapons Convention. And Trump, all in all, calls for an end to terrorism and an end to the mindless killing of innocent lives. And for what? For your own intolerance? And for your own wanting the West to be tolerant of you, but you are intolerant of your own religion? 90% of Muslim killings are done by Muslims. And as we know, Syria is a majority Muslim country. So, Trump calls on all nations to join us, the United States of America, in seeking to end the slaughter and bloodshed in Syria. And that's a quote. He stated, and I quote, "We ask for God's wisdom, and we pray for the lives of the wounded and the souls that have passed." I think we can all agree on that. So, why is this such a big deal? Why is this making major headlines? Well, not only is it a deadly chemical gas attack upon innocent lives that the U.S. has taken decisive action to respond to, thank you to President Donald Trump and his use of hard power, which every president has the right to use, economic and military means to influence a state's behavior. Thanks to him, we may be seeing some improvement in the state of Syria, or the state of its people at least, if Syria ceases to exist as a state due to this humanitarian crisis that is happening there. It is the biggest humanitarian crisis right now in the world, and that's why it is making the headlines. So, Syria is in a dangerous state. These attacks that occurred on Thursday, April 6th, killed innocent lives. Reports are ranging from 80 people to over 100. It's obviously not conclusive. Maybe it will be, but not yet. So according to the UN, in April 2016, the death toll among Syrian government forces, opposition forces, and civilians reached nearly 500,000, 400,000 people. 13.5 million people were in need of humanitarian assistance in Syria, with 6.3 million people displaced internally within the country, and an additional 4.8 Syrian refugees scattered abroad, walking to train stations, getting across to Norway, to Sweden, to other European countries, and all over the world. Syria, is thus the most catastrophic humanitarian crisis worldwide, and that is a fact. According to CIA World Fact Book, you can get these numbers and statistics and get the confirmation that this is indeed the biggest humanitarian crisis worldwide at the moment. So, how exactly did the Obama administration react to the 2013 gas attacks? Or should I say, how did he fail to react? How did the administration fail to react? Well, they stated that the government of Syria at the time in 2013 had crossed a red line in the sand. And this was the famous saying, the red line, the line in the sand. Many people demanded the bombing of Syria. Many people, even Trump himself, said, no, we shouldn't bomb Syria. We should, I guess, give Assad a chance. Give the government a chance to clean themselves up before we intervene, before we get involved. But, so Obama didn't bomb them. You know, Assad vowed to relinquish his weapons. In short, Obama said he would oppose the use of chemical weapons effectively, but he did nothing. So Assad struck again. And it was a few years later, but nonetheless, here we are with another devastating attack upon innocent lives in Syria by its own corrupted government, reportedly and possibly. We're not sure, but this is the most likely situation based on the fact that he is targeting, or the area is targeted, where area is condensed with rebel forces, with rebel peoples that oppose this president who is dictator-like, who's been in power for 17 years now, whose father was in power before him. And we'll get to talking about more of those specifics in just a little while. So, and it really does make sense of all this when you see where Syria has been and where its government has been, and the way that they have been confined to one ruler. And Assad is nearly royalty because his father is accredited for saving the Syrian people and bringing stability back to Syria. We can see how this situation has developed by looking at the history and the undemocratic process of the way it chooses its leaders. And the way it's anti-republic, it's anti-democratic. I just don't see how having the same family in power for 20, 30 years is going to keep stability in a nation. You need balance. The United States, we know the importance of balance. Our founding fathers knew the importance of balance. They'd said that political parties were bad. Well, George Washington did. But Syria doesn't have that balance that we've got in the U.S. and that a lot of countries have. They're not there. And how can they be expected to be there? So anyway, moving on. Can we really criticize Obama for not taking hard action against Syria? Well, let's look back on it. President Donald Trump openly disagreed about bombing Syria because of, unwanted and unwarranted U.S. involvement. That was the biggest deterrent. Why involve the U.S.? Why, lose U.S. lives at the expense of Syria? And at the time, maybe it didn't seem worth it. And we can sit and we can point the finger at President Barack Obama, at sitting President Barack Obama, and say, this is his fault that Assad struck again. But in all honesty, there's no telling. Because as we can see, more strikes were reported by Syria 2 days after President Trump launched missiles upon the airbase, on the Shariat airbase. We had bombings occur again, reportedly chemical agents. Again, not even 48 hours later, on Saturday morning, on the 8th of April. So is striking back immediately going to stop President Bashar al-Assad? Evidently not, or whoever's committing this. Evidently not. So, you know what? Does it surprise me that Obama did not bomb them? Absolutely not. Obama's a non-confrontational person. And that was, I guess, maybe at the time needed for our government. Maybe that was needed for our balance. But now that we have President Trump in office, he's definitely correcting that balance and he's reacting. So now we're going to see how reacting and taking decisive action plays out, which I know the American people are curious to see. Even if they're not supportive of it, they're still very curious to see, is this going to be effective? Because we still know for a fact that taking the action or lack thereof that President Barack Obama took was ineffective. So at least we have something going for us, although we don't know exactly what it is. I personally think it was a good move. We have some live footage that I want to show some clips of after when we get back tomorrow. That would like to show some clips of. So tomorrow we are going to get into this YouTube video posted by Dr. Shahjul Islam. And this was posted from Syria on April 4th, reporting the patients going into his hospital, how he was running out of ventilators, how he had overcapacity of patients. He mentioned that other hospitals were destroyed. There was not enough ventilators for all the incoming patients in his hospital. He had to turn people away. And this was all happening the day of the gas attacks. And he called upon the world for assistance. And he called upon the world through YouTube. And he asked the world to call upon their nation's leaders and their governments to help Syria in their state of crisis. And it is it's heart-wrenching to watch, and that's why we're only going to show a couple minutes of the very beginning, because it does get rather graphic. It shows a young child, he's only 15 later in the video, suffering from the effects of the sarin gas attacks. And the effects of the sarin gas attacks should never have to happen to any human being. It's, you know, the human suffering. We'll talk about the symptoms when we get back tomorrow on the show. So anyway, remember to the golden rule: treat others how you would like to be treated, and take it day by day, and we can go from there. Now we got to close up for today on this topic, and we'll get back with it tomorrow on more analysis of the gas attacks in Syria. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia: Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
At Days Days Chevrolet in Jasper. We make everything better. And no matter what vehicle you drive, our new state-of-the-art service center can keep you running like new with factory-trained technicians, genuine parts, and value pricing. Even convenient Saturday service hours and online appointments. So if you want to extend the life of your vehicle, let the Days service experts help. Your better day is just ahead at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where we service whatever you drive.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Ellijay.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.